Well, folks, we have a little bit of an update regarding what we went over yesterday, which was obviously the Blake Lively situation and how she wants to take away 2 of her claims. And we knew this was coming, and it's not looking good for her. So this is what we got, folks. Blake Lively's emotional distress claims a DOA. Judge rules in win for Justin Baldoni. The trial over Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's bitter dispute on what really happened in Ends With Us and in the aftermath of the Sony-released film doesn't start until March. But sometimes justice picks up the pace in a slow-moving and sprawling multi-million-dollar battle. As both sides took to the court docket and the media Monday to fight over how Lively would withdraw her intentional emotional distress claims from her suit against Baldoni, his Wayfarer Studios, executives and publicists. The judge shut the whole thing down Tuesday, lickety-split with a rebook of Lively's side. The motion to compel is denied based on plaintiff's representation that the relevant claims will be withdrawn. Judge Louis J. Liman wrote this morning in a fairly brisk order, which we do have by there, which we'll have a look at after. Lively's request that because the parties have agreed to dismiss Miss Lively's 10th and 11th cause of action, the court exercise its inherent authority under Rule 15 to dismiss them without prejudice. So, it's denied without this to renewal as well. The NYC-based federal official and brother of director Doug Liman added the parties shall stipulate to whether the dismissal is with or without prejudice, or Lively shall renew her request by formal motion. As a kicker, a day after Lively's lawyers exclaimed their client in not completely abandoning her emotional distress claims, Judge Liman made where he sits on all this perfectly clear. For avoidance of doubt, if the claims are not dismissed, the court will preclude Lively from offering any evidence of emotional distress. So ordered. After all the hoopla of Monday's lawyers and Monday's letters to the judge and weekend email exchanges between attorneys for both Lively and Baldoni, lawyers and representatives for the latter were mum Tuesday, offering a telling no comment on Lyman's move in their favour. For Lively, who now has no window to shift strategy and release her requested medical and therapy records, there was a sidestepping of her loss and a repeat of what her team put out on Monday. The court denied Wayfarer's motion, said Lively lawyers Esra Hudson and Mike Gottlieb in a statement Tuesday. He told the parties to continue their discussions about the technicalities of how 2 of the 15 claims will be voluntarily dismissed. Miss Lively has offered to dismiss those claims because they are no longer necessary. Why aren't they necessary? If you put them out there and you said that you were going to do this and these are one of your claims, how come all of a sudden they're not necessary? Is it because you've claimed them and during discovery you can legally request those documents to see if you are telling the truth? Why are they not necessary now? She will continue to pursue emotional distress damages through other claims in her lawsuit, including this and retaliation. In addition, the Baldoni Wayfarer strategy of filing retaliatory claims has exposed them to expansive damages under California law. This is exactly where both parties were before the Baldoni Wayfarer parties rushed to file this utterly pointless motion to compel, all searching for yet another press moment. You know what, we've seen all of this before, and to be honest with you, it's sad that this is still happening. You know, people are putting these out. If you claim that all of these things have happened and you've gone to see therapy, you've got medical records proving that you are not lying, just show them to the world. You know, I've seen that on Twitter as well, that a lot of people are like, oh my God, it's her medical files, it's her medical documents, it's her records. They don't have the right to do anything. Sorry, they do, because if you claim in a court of law that this person has done substantial damage to you, you are legally allowed to ask for proof. And these medical documents, they would prove that all of this happened. If you don't, and you're like, well, I'm not going to give you any documentation, all right, then, well, none of it happened then. You know, that's how it looks. And this is not looking good for Blake Lively, it's not. So, with whispers of all not being well on the domestic, this themed It Ends With Us, even though the pick scored at the box office, press tour and premiere snubs, this all went public and wide when Lively filed her this and retaliation complaint on December 20th against Baldoni and his inner circle with California's Civil Rights Department. She followed with a formal suit on December 31st and a $400 million defamation and extortion action from the Jane the Virgin actor against Lively. Her hubby Ryan Reynolds and their PR team was not far behind. In the months since, the case has ballooned to around half a dozen lawsuits, everyone trying to get dismissed from the case, and the likes of Taylor Swift, Disney, Marvel, the New York Times, and others again dragged in. It's absolutely insane, it really is. Sources on both sides have insisted a deadline, and the courts repeatedly and vehemently that there is no chance of a settlement now, with the high-profile Lively and Reynolds hauled way out of their carefully created comfort zone, and WME dumped Baldoni's career now dead in the water in Hollywood. Yeah, these people who, they go around saying, well, I'm going to do this. They put these claims out. They file these lawsuits, which cost money and everything else, obviously. You got to get your lawyers to draft things up and do all this kind of stuff. But then you're like, you know what, I'm gonna take them back because he's asked for evidence that I haven't got. That's literally it. And because of these claims, WME, they're the ones who also own a lot of other things in Hollywood and the world. Baldoni was just dumped by him. And with that, that's actually come from Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, supposedly from them. In Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Deadpool movies. I love Ryan Reynolds movies. To me, he's one of the funniest guys to be in film. But now hearing a lot of stuff that behind the scenes, like, Nice Pool was all based on Baldoni and everything else. It's like, really? So you're making fun of someone for being so nice, but then your wife says he did all these horrible things. There's so many things about this, it's absolutely bizarre, it really is. And obviously, March the 9th in NYC is when the trial is set to start, where the Sean Diddy Combs trafficking trial is taking place right now. And obviously that is not going to be televised or anything, so we won't be doing any streams for that one there. But yeah, this is absolutely, it's mad, it's crazy, it's Hollywood, and you can see why so many people now, like perfect example, Keanu Reeves. If he takes photos with people, and they're women, he's got his hands behind them, but he's not touching them. And he's making sure his hands are in the photo. Baldoni, he had someone record all his backstage stuff when he was doing this film because he wanted to protect himself. It's sad that people have to go to these lengths now to be like, right, okay, I'm innocent, but I need you to film when I'm not on camera. I need you to film. I need you to film when I'm backstage, who I'm talking to, what I'm talking with. And he also had the sound as well. So a lot of it is not going her way at this moment in time. And we said it yesterday, we're going to say it again today. With this, with her saying, I don't want to put these claims there anymore, when someone has asked for discovery to see evidence, that's making her look absolutely terrible. It's making her look like to be a liar. That's the thing, which she probably doesn't care because obviously she's loaded. Reynolds is worth nearly $1 billion himself. And to see that he's now like, no, I'm suing you for $400 million. It's going to be a very, very interesting court case, folks. And we will more than likely now be covering it from here on because we've been sitting in the background. We've been watching it. We've been studying it. We've been keeping notes. Again, after the Johnny Depp thing, because that took up literally 4 years of my life. With this, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to sit back. But obviously, this is coming out now, and it's like, it's the same thing over and over again. And it's wrong. Let us know what you think about this down below, folks. If you are new to the channel, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.